evening, Dolphins Nation. This is not Tuesday night. It's a special episode of the Fins Bandwagon on a special Friday night episode. We couldn't do it last night in our new scheduled time of Thursday at 8 p.m., but we're here tonight. I'll huddle up the way it's still going on a little bit to be here with all of you to have a beautiful episode of the Fins Bandwagon. It's been a little while, but that's what makes us more fun. We come and go as we please because we're a top show on this network. My buddy Michael Vogel and I have been really, really busy, but we have so much to talk about Dolphins, so we just wanted to join you here tonight. So, Michael, how you doing? Catch us up. What's been going on?
Man, I'm great. It's been a while since our last show, but
yeah,
it was. I've been getting the itch again to come talk all things Dolphins. So throw the positivity behind it because that's what we do over here.
Well, yeah, exactly. So that's why I made the joke. I one of the topics on the show that we posted on Twitter was the fact that it's the most positive fans. We have the best fans, and like the family atmosphere of the teammates of the Miami Dolphins players is just phenomenal. I just saw you were you retweeted something on Twitter. The fact that for Eric Carmoni, the founder of TuneOn, what tragically happened to his family, what Big E's been able to put together.
Incredible.
Their goal was already originally 25,000. Now it's at over 100,000. It's absolutely incredible. And the fact that Tyreek Hill, Tom Garfunkel, Tua, and what that team has done, and what all individuals, whether it's a $5 donation or a $10,000 donation, it's absolutely incredible for this family. We all are families here. This unity of the Miami Dolphins is absolutely incredible. And that's what it's about. Being on the bandwagon is being part of this wonderful community of Dolphin fans. Win or lose, we're just there to be there for each other. So that's the best part about being a Miami Dolphins fan.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we're. So today we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on. The one thing I want to get out of the way is that, and I think this is the best line for me. My name is Evan Posner. I was born October 17th, 1982, and I wasn't born yesterday. And the reason I love to use that term now, and maybe you'll do, is because what Mike McDaniel did yesterday, when someone was asking him about what's going on with Dalvin Cook, and he goes, "I wasn't born yesterday." And he started doing this spin, and I go, "That's what we love about Miami Dolphins, is that this coach, this atmosphere, this mindset is absolutely hilarious. Like no matter what, we're always having fun, and that's the goal, right? The goal is to have fun on this network. You know what I mean? That's the goal why we do this every day. That's why we talk Miami Dolphins. That's why we enjoy our coach. That's why we enjoy our team. It's just a blast. Where'd you go already? You're already sick of me? Michael? Jesus. We're 4 minutes into the show and Michael Vogel already went nuts. So guys, a lot of things we're going to talk about. We'll see when Michael comes back. He might drop out and then come back. Is we're obviously going to talk about what went on with the mini camps this week, what's going on with Tua, what's going on with the various, what surprised us most, what's going on with the Dalvin Cook news. There's just a lot to talk about when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. But I'm going to wait a couple of seconds to hopefully Michael will pop back on. Maybe we'll see what happens in a couple of minutes. But I guess we could talk about Dalvin Cook quickly, and then he'll come back on. As obviously, as we all know, Dalvin Cook was released by the Minnesota Vikings earlier today. Obviously, Dolphins Twitter is going crazy because just from our past experience of Tyreek Hill, trading for Bradley Chubb, trading for Jalen Ramsey, it's a hot spot to be in Miami. We're on the verge of something great here. And to add a guy like potentially a Dalvin Cook, we're not going to overspend on him, but at the same time, a guy who went to Florida State, who grew up in Opa-locka, right near Dolphin Stadium, not far off, near Miami Gardens. It would be a great opportunity for him to add him to the core of this team. If he's honestly, that would turn us into a really scary offense. It's absolutely incredible. I'm just going to drop Michael out here to see if he can come back in. See when he comes back on. Versus you guys having a black screen. But no, it's really amazing just to be able to continue to talk about these players because I've always said on the bandwagon. It was maybe 2-3 years ago. All we talked about was Dan Marino. And the years of Dan Marino, we don't have to talk about it anymore because we have so many superstars in so many different areas of this team. And I believe, as I've said on many of the other shows, including not just the bandwagon, a Real Talk Fins Talk, I've commented on all the other shows that one thing we need in this running game is not just a ordinary running back by committee. We need someone who continues to confuse the offense into the various schemes. The complication of this offense is what makes us unique. Tyreek Hill even said today that the defense, last year he was winging it on the offense. That's how complicated the schemes are for Mike McDaniel to learn. And that's just an amazing thing that, you know what, and by adding a Dalvin Cook and his nature, a 4-time straight Pro Bowler, over 1,000 yards rushing, 27 years old, hopefully that will work out for us. Now, hopefully he's not just looking for the money. If he's looking to be a winner, he'll want to come into Miami. If he wants to go play in Denver or anything like that, that's his choice. I'm going to try to bring Michael back into here. We'll see what happens to him. What happened to you?
Dude, I don't know. I thought I lost you.
No, I didn't go anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I'm the boss. I'm the producer. You can't do that to me, guys. What do you want me to do? So I was trying to do some filler time.
I'm going again.
What's wrong with your internet? You need that Canadian internet. I'm telling you.
This American stuff is.
I was doing some filler time, so we're gonna work our way backwards. So what I was talking about briefly, and I'll give you a recap of what I was doing to fill up time. We'll talk about minicamp, and we're gonna talk about what we like about minicamp. We'll go through all the different schemes of all the different positions, like we like to do, and the positive nature of what this is. But the one thing I want to talk about is obviously the most recent news, which is the fact that for months and months we've talked on previous shows. Oh, should we go get a Derrick Henry? Should we get a Dalvin Cook? And for me right now, Dalvin Cook, everyone thought, let's trade for him. We didn't want to give up draft capital. We feel we have between A-Chain, between Mostert, between Wilson, between Ahmed, and between Gaskin, we have a running room. Michael, what are you doing to me tonight, buddy? You're spinning. Can you hear me?
Finn, turn that down.
Michael? I'll answer a question. Michael, do you think we have enough room to, let's say, trade a guy like Cedric Wilson and bring back Dalvin Cook and DeAndre Hopkins? Well, Anthony, DeAndre Hopkins is looking to bag it. He's going to New England. He's going to Tennessee for visits next week. That's not where he wants to be. Dalvin Cook is a Miami guy, born in Opa-locka, went to I think Miami Western. He went to one of the Miami local high schools. He went to Florida State. If he really wants to win and be part of a great unity of a team, he'll sign in Miami. If he wants to bag it, he'll end up probably in Dallas or somewhere like that where he could be the bell cow. But for me, I have really this feeling that Dalvin Cook, and I think Cedric Wilson, he even said a couple weeks ago he wants to be here. And at $7 million, I don't think, unless someone gets injured in late August during training camp, I don't think that we're going to have an opportunity. That's the only way we can see Dalvin Cook. It's all depending on what he wants to do in his career. So we'll see what happens there. We're going to try Michael again.
Jesus,
going to work
dude.
this time?
I moved to a different spot. What's going on in
Winston-Salem? Are the witches out in Winston-Salem tonight? Jesus.
They must be, because this is driving me. I moved to a different location, so hopefully we can be a little bit more
Let's try this again, buddy. Let's try this again. Okay. So I've been answering some questions about trading Cedric Wilson and signing Dalvin Cook, but let's just talk about Dalvin Cook for a second. So in the end, as we all predicted, no one was going to trade for him and take on his $10.4 million salary. But today he was released. And then there was some breaking news about the fact that Miami is obviously has mutual interest. Rappaport just announced that recently had a show where he talked about the fact that there's mutual interest there, but it all depends on the money, because we have about $11, $12 million left in cap space. But between Connor Williams not arriving at minicamp because he wants an extension on this contract, the fact that even though they'll gain cap space with Christian Wilkins, they also have Zach Sealer. They're not going to throw the bag at Dalvin Cook, but they could end up. But he is a Miami guy. He's from Opa-locka, as I've mentioned a few times already. He went to Florida State. He went to high school in Miami. This is where if he really wants to come home and be part of this wonderful community, what we're trying to build here, go get him. And I understand we don't want to overspend. I'll talk about what I think we should give him, but I want to get your feedback. Since we haven't done a show in a while, tell me the reasons why you would want, or maybe tell me why you wouldn't, about what you think of Dalvin Cook and what you think he can do for the Miami Dolphins, and the fact that he's even piquing the interest of the Miami Dolphins. How does that make you feel?
Well, definitely, you talk about wanting a, bell cow running back, and I think that fits in perfectly. You want me to give you a reason for why Miami should schedule him? I'll give you 4. The last 4 years, he was a 1,000-yard rusher, which is something that Miami has not had. He obviously would probably be I think looking back, he's the best running back Miami would have since Ricky Williams.
Yeah. More than Randy Brown for sure.
And, again, Mike McDaniel has said multiple times that great coaches figure out ways to work with great players. So if it's not, because I saw a couple people saying that it's not a fit in Miami, which, it's all about the coaches and coaching staff and how they're able to get him involved.
Yeah.
If you bring him to Miami, I mean, it's just another nasty weapon on this offense,
between what he's posted on Instagram about him dancing in Miami, then he's playing the video of him scoring the touchdown. He wants to be here. It just he doesn't want. Obviously, he doesn't want to be undercut. So I'm going to tell you what I think they should do, the Dolphins. But you, go ahead.
Well, I'm not. Yeah, I don't know much. I'm terrible with math and money and all that stuff. But
I'll tell you what they should do.
I know that Jalen Ramsey is recruiting him hard. I think Jalen Ramsey said that he was rocking the Florida State stuff today to, get some good vibes, and I think that's for one person only. So,
honestly, there's money that, in the end. I would sign him to a 2-year, $12 million deal for 2 years. Chris Greer is a expert at the 2-year deal, and you give him a $10 million signing bonus. Let Mr. Moneybags pull out his checkbook, let him eat most of the salary in his signing bonus, and go from there. And honestly, I think that would close the deal because I don't think he wants a long-term contract. And if he wants to go get the bag, they would have traded for the $10 million guy. So if he was making 10.4 this year and they released him, and no one wants to give up the draft capital, why would someone? I understand they could have had direct rights. They would have given up a third-round pick or something like that. Instead, they're going to go sign for 10. He's not going to get his $10 million.
Right.
So in the end, I would go for 6, give him the $10 million signing bonus, and we can go from there.
Now, do you think, obviously coming to Miami, you don't have to pay, the sales tax there, which is a bonus. Yeah. Do you think that Denver would have that? Obviously they have that Walmart money that they can talk with. So I guess that's.
I don't think it's the money, honestly. I really don't think Dalvin Cook. I don't think Dalvin Cook wants the bag. I honestly don't, because he's also going to get some money from Minnesota. I think he has money left over from Minnesota. So in the end, they'll end up between the two deals. As long as he gets his money, no matter how he gets it, let him get it. You know what I mean? Like for me, I would sign them to that. You know what I mean? I just want to refer back to Anthony's question. So he talked about getting DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins is the complete opposite. He wants his bag. Yeah. Even though he's from Central South Carolina, and I think they're not going to futz around with the money anymore. He's asking about if Howard no, I don't think they will, because I don't think it's going to take more than $6 million. And if you get him on a 2-year deal at $6 million per, you still have a lot to move. You know what I mean? You still have a lot to go. You still have a lot of movement, and I really think by Monday he's going to be a Miami Dolphin, and I think we'll be doing a breaking news.
I know there were a lot of people that so that if we didn't have him today, we're not getting him. Jeff Darlington, they did a spot on NFL Network, and they asked him, and Jeff Darlington, I feel like's in the know, and he feels like it's going to be Miami. Yeah. So
I think it takes a lot of pressure off Tua. It takes a lot of pressure off Hill and Waddle, and it makes them even more dangerous because, no offense, Mostert is a speedster. 18 is a rookie. Mostert gets injured. Wilson is good, but he's not a star like Dalvin Cook.
Right.
And Ahmed and Gaskin are just there to fill up holes. So for me, I don't care if Dalvin Cook's not a great blocker. That's what Ingles' job is to do. That's what he has to be doing. If this was if this was a star lineman, I understand because you're a trenches guy. We all love the trenches. Yeah, I would give them the bag of what we have left. If we can get a superstar offensive lineman, we're not doing that. I understand it's the most interchangeable position in the league, but when you get a guy like Dalvin Cook or Derrick Henry or Austin Eckler or something like that, you go after it.
Yeah.
You're not going to spend the bag on it, but you do definitely give him $6-7 million, and $7 million is my cap. That's the most I would give him. Anthony Drake, for me, I think people think that John Trump wants money. Maybe you can get the money, still win the championship in the Tennessee. That's why I say Miami. Of course, I understand that, Anthony. But why aren't people offering him visits? The first visit he's going to is to Tennessee, where Tennessee, they want Derrick Henry wants out. That it doesn't give you the pause that he's running. In fact, he's even taking that. He's not looking to go to a winner. That's his first visit. It's to go to Tennessee. Okay, that's not where.
And then New England.
Yeah, Duke will get paid regardless. I think of him chemistry thing. He wants a notable team of potential. I agree with you, Mothtown. Welcome to the show for the first time. I haven't seen you before, so welcome. No, I agree. Don't forget to like and subscribe. No, I agree. Totally agree. So for me, Dalvin Cook, I think it just fits so well. And also DeAndre Hopkins, for me, right now, between Waddle and Hill, Robbie Chosen, because now he's Robbie Chosen. He's not Chosen Anderson anymore. And he's not Robbie Anderson anymore. And then you have Braxton Berrios, Cedric Wilson, who even said during minicamp and during the OTAs he wants to be in Miami, negating everything going on because he's going to get his money guaranteed anyways. He chooses to be in Miami to still be a third or fourth receiver on this off. It just honestly, it's built properly. It's the right place to be for this team, and I think Dalvin Cook knows that. Like the fact that in Minnesota, you could see they're already getting what they've been getting rid of in the defense. Brian Flores being there now, they're shedding some stuff. The fact that they want to go with Alexander Madison, Kirk Cousins, they're going to move on from next year. The writing's on the wall. The fact of the matter is, come to Miami and become a winner. Like there's a real good reason to be here. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I don't think there's any right offensive scheme. No, I really don't think McDaniel will start. No, I agree with you, Anthony. That's why I think Dalvin Cook. I've always said I love Derrick Henry, and he can go through any offensive line, even with the poor offensive line at Tennessee. But at the same time, Dalvin Cook can do so much more. Like for me, he killed us last year. And the guy is just a star. He's just an absolute star.
Can you imagine?
Bring it home.
I try not to let my mind go too much yet because it's not official, and we want to make sure it's a sure thing. But can you imagine? Given Dalvin Cook the majority of the carries, and then in the middle of third and fourth, you're bringing in Mostert to just torch defenses.
And
I mean, you're scoring. Yeah. I mean, the weapons are amazing if everybody can stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's a good it's a good thing.
He's in love with A-Chain. Mostert is a speedster who's just. But Mostert's going to get injured no matter what. I can guarantee you one thing I know this season: Mostert will get injured. He's an injury waiting to happen. I love the guy, but he's an injury waiting to happen. But A-Chain is just going to fit into this team, and for me, Dalvin Cook is just another piece. You wonder what? We have so many stars now. We're in we're in the toughest division in football. If you have the opportunity to sign another elite player, you go get it.
Do you feel his shoulder's good now? I know he went through surgery and everything.
He said his surgery.
He's good to go.
Yeah. Also, because many camps are over. He still has 2.5. He still has until the end of July. He still has almost he has another 7 weeks to heal that thing. I'm not worried about that at all. No, so for me, Dalvin Cook will stay on the loop. We're going to have breaking news show as soon as we already have the graphics ready for that show.
Heck yeah.
The moment it happens, so we're ready to go.
Put it out there.
We get Jeff Wilson. No, Jeff. No, if we bring in Dalvin Cook, it's going to be Ahmed or it's going to be Gaskin. It's not going to be Wilson, and it's not going to be Mostert because they're on $2 million deals. It's not the end of the world. They still have the cap space. It's going to be Mostert. It's going to be Gaskin, or it's going to be Ahmed. Probably Gaskin.
Yeah, I agree.
So now let's talk about what we've been missing. We love talking Miami Dolphins. So let's talk about the fun stuff. We're going to go to a bit of a reverse order. So let's talk about the coaching staff a little bit. Then we'll talk about the players, what we've been able to see so far.
Yep.
So in terms of the coaches, I never thought I thought McDaniel's spiel was going to get a little old. But even yesterday on NFL Live, when he started answering the questions about whether or not we were interested in Dalvin Cook and saying when he was born, he wasn't born yesterday, he's a first-year coach. The quib, this guy is literally that never gets bored of confusing the heck out of everyone. And honestly, that's what's amazing about this team. The heart of this team. Look at him at the Heat games. Look at him in the Panthers games. The community of Miami and what he's been able to do. You think Brian Flores? Imagine Brian Flores doing this? Not a freaking chance.
No. He understands the bigger picture, and he knows that if he gets out there and supports the Heat and the Panthers right now, that's going to come back on the Dolphins in a positive way. Before McDaniel, dude, I can't tell you the last coach's presser I could sit through because it was all sitting there listening to monotone, mumbo jumbo coaches speak, and I'm not a huge soccer fan, but I mean now you got Messi down there, so you got one of the biggest.
Miami is the place to be.
Yeah, dude.
To give you some perspective, Michael, just give you some perspective, and you could get a ticket. The average ticket price for an Inter Miami soccer game prior to Messi being signed was $29 US.
I
Now
was
it's
gonna say,
$437.
I was gonna say like maybe 20 or 25. Now, what is it going to now?
$437.
Ooh, for what? You got to pay him somehow.
No, it's amazing. But also, it's a Beckham thing. Honestly, it's a Beckham thing. You know what? That's what people want to do in Miami. They all want to come here. But that's the point of my show, my topic of my show. McDaniel has really brought the community feel back into it. Marino was at the game last night. Mostert's been at the games. Tua was at the game last night. The feel of this, of
I
being a
did see
Panther
Tua at the
fan,
Panthers game.
yeah. The fact that they're all there and being there as part of a community is just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And that's why. But the pressure's also off for Miami between what FAU did, between what University of Miami's done, between what the Heat are doing, between what the Panthers are doing. All these teams are not better than Miami in terms of the skill set. The amount of stars we have on this team, there's no reason to be unexcited. But the one person who was not very exciting yesterday, they did some interviews with Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio was actually not so pleased with how the defense is coming around, even though during minicamp they did pretty well, which actually gives me a lot of enjoyment and makes me happy because finally we have a coach who's not satisfied with average and mediocrity.
Yeah.
And the fact is that
exactly.
the fact that he's there and the fact that he's still saying there's a lot to be worked on, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that gives me very happy.
Yeah, I don't. 30% ownership. Mm-hmm. Dang, that's impressive.
No, I think he's making it up.
I mean,
it's pretty cool.
That's impressive.
Pretty amazing if that's true. Yeah. But the guy's worth so much money. The guy. I'll give you perspective. The guy I think has like 600 million followers on Twitter or something like that. The guy's unreal. Yeah. That's what soccer players are, right? They're world renowned. So, but no, what I was going to say that.
But then that also, I mean, but that brings in the eyes, though, right? Like, you have that many followers, they're going to follow you wherever you end up. And now he's in Miami. Yeah. I mean, Miami's the place to be. Speaking on Fangio, I haven't seen a whole lot of his stuff. I did watch something yesterday of one of his pressers in the practice bubble there.
Yeah.
And he kind of, like he just wants to see it get better.
Yeah, of course.
Which is good.
A new scheme, which is a good thing, right? There's a lot of new players, a lot of new scheme, feeling where they fit. That's all that matters. But then all those other coaches between Sam Madison and what's the other guy's name? Drawing a blank on it. The guy, the defensive guy, he's new defensive assistant from the Chargers. But
it's on the tip
Ronaldo
of my
Hill.
brain.
Ronaldo Hill.
Yes,
Ronaldo Hill. He's very happy to have him around, guiding him. But no, this is what the point of mini camps are: is to bring people in and to develop it. So for me, when you look at the defense, thank you, Anthony. Yeah, I just remembered I was going. Yes, you were just no actual dues. The account contract has a breakdown out. Oh, okay, all right, very cool. But no, Ronaldo Hill. But for me, the defense right now, I know in mini camps they were leading a little bit more, depending on the days. They're not wearing pads, you can't really say much. But a lot of the players weren't really practicing. You could see that. But the fact of the matter is that you see what these guys are doing in the mini camps. Jalen Phillips, you see that Christian Wilkins were wearing the orange jersey during these camps. So with Adam Van Ginkel and the group there, you see how much fun Jalen Ramsey's having, part of this team. The fact that Xavier Howard, you think Xavier Howard this time last year, before Mike McDaniel was showing up to these mini camps. Are you kidding me? The fact that everyone is showing up to these mini camps, with the exception of Connor Williams, which we'll get to in a few minutes, is a good thing. The fact that people want to be there and practice, it's a great thing, right? It's a great thing. For me, that doesn't give me any pause. Defense looks good in terms of the overall. This team should be rocking. The only, like I said, after they sign Dalvin Cook, which I'm convinced they will, unless he chooses to take the bag, which I'd be disappointed in him a little bit. But this is obviously as a young guy still, he's 27 years old. If he wants to get his last potential big contract, that's up to him. I think they should still go get another linebacker, but overall, or maybe another nose tackle. But we'll see how Peely does behind Raekwon Davis. Because in this scheme, the one thing I'll say, people were talking about Christian Wilkins. You know who's more important than Christian Wilkins on this defense for his Rick Fangio scheme? Raekwon Davis. You need a nose tackle to play in these 3-4 defenses. Honestly, I honestly, Raekwon Davis needs to be more valuable to the team next year than Christian Wilkins. I can tell you that. So,
I agree.
But no, so the defense looks okay with me. So in terms of the trenches, I know that's where you love to be. So right now, we obviously in the last couple weeks since we had a show, we signed. I like to call him Ogabui, but he's just more depth. The fact that we signed Isaiah Wynn, so a win is a win. So I think that was the famous line, which is
I
great.
like that signing. I like
Yeah,
that signing.
tell me. I want you to hear. So talk about that signing. Take a few minutes. What did you think about that signing, Isaiah? What do you like about it?
Well, first of all, I like the deal he got. I mean,
Yeah.
especially for somebody that maybe has not performed up to the standards. They didn't break the bank to get him. I loved him coming out of college. I know he kind of fell off last year, but I mean, it's the New England Patriots, and they had two defensive guys running the offense, so everybody fell off. I listened to Kyle Krabs, and that's what he brought up. Like he was in a no-win situation. Speaking of win, he was in a no-win situation in New England.
There we go.
And probably didn't, honestly, like probably didn't have the heart to get back into that offense then and there. So, I think I like it for the competition piece. And I definitely feel like he is definitely somebody potential from what I've seen in years past. Granted last year it was an off year, but I mean, how many players in the NFL have off years? They get cut and they end up, balling out or being serviceable enough for teams. Did anybody in the right mind? Yeah.
We need a swing tackle.
I agree.
We need a swing tackle, and he'll fit. And then obviously with Connor Williams not being there, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I have an interesting question for you in a minute, but he actually I was shocked he got the orange jersey, but Liam Eichenberg was actually practicing mini camps at center because they don't have a center right now. They have Dan Feeney, but Dan Feeney is just dead. And we actually did a show.
He played a little bit of center. Yeah, he played a little center at Notre Dame.
Yeah. How did he perform there at Notre Dame? How did he perform, if you recall?
I mean, he was serviceable, and Notre Dame's won a lot of games when he was playing there, and the O-line has always been, not always, but recent in the last several years has been really good. So when he got to Miami and wasn't performing like, I just don't know if that's O-line coach is not connecting properly, or he's just not understanding the mentality of everything going on. So to see, love you too, baby. To see him at center and just see, I mean, because he may have to play there if Williams is a long-term holdout. He may get forced into that position. So I understand Connor Williams holding out. I don't want him to. I'd like to see him come in this year and perform again at center and then hold out. But I understand you had for the most part, you had a really good year at center.
He'll get signed.
I don't know where he was ranked.
I don't remember where he was ranked, but in the end, they'll sign him. They're not going to futz around. They signed him last year. I think they'll find a way to make it work. I think he's just being a pain in the butt, but in the end, I think they'll find a way to make it work. Frank Smith and Mike McDaniel will find a way to make that work. For me, I think it shows a little bit of poor leadership from his part. But you know what? Teron Armstead wasn't there. He was doing his basketball tournament. He's there, but he's not really doing much. Him, Robert Hunt, and Teron Armstead, you know what? Let them do whatever they want. They were key members of this offensive line last year. And in the end, he knows what he has here. He's not going to go find better. But they have to extend him one more year, give him a little bit of a signing bonus, maybe give him all his money up front. Do what you got to do just to get him in there, and he'll be ready for training camp. I'm not worried about the mini camp.
I agree.
So, ironically, we'll talk about. We're halfway through the show. We'll go a little bit longer. So we just want to get some feedback on what's going on with Dalvin Cook. You just get some content back on the Talk Sports Network. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So obviously, the one thing that's been amazing to watch, whether through the OTAs and through the minicamp, is how our Uno is looking. He is every time you think he's gonna. The guy looks completely different. He looks so much more confident. He looks so much more engaged on what's going on. He doesn't get defeated. He knows it's his job. And so, what have you been thoughts based on what you've been reading about the last few weeks? The donation he made, like the guy.
Oh my God, that was huge.
People talking about the leader that he is. What are your thoughts on all that? Do it.
Yeah, I mean to see him come out and show up, the neck's really thick and the legs are really thick. I think all that stuff helps. In him kind of taking another step forward. Learning to fall and stuff with the jiu-jitsu, I think is going to be extremely beneficial. From what I've heard and what I've seen and what McDaniels has said, is all pointing in the right direction. It'll be really nice if we can get, keep him in 17 plus games this year. I really, the GoPro on the side of the camera, I think is huge. And I think it's just not just for Tua, but for quarterbacks and coaches altogether. So sitting down and being able to hear the thought process, because you don't get that as a coach, you don't get the thought process when you call a play. You just call the play and the quarterback calls it whether they like it or not. And so when you're in the huddle and they don't really like it, and I think that's maybe he did say, he's like, I don't really like it because now they can hear kind of what I have to say. But at the same time, like, I feel like that's how coaches, how coaches learn, is by understanding that thought process. So I think that's huge. I think him, coming out and trolling the media with a Polaroid camera on his helmet the other day, that was hilarious to me. Yeah. So, and just, the way McDaniels talks about him, saying that he is a leadership, shut down practice, because the offense wasn't doing what they were supposed to. I think that's a huge step in the right direction.
I just don't get his choice of music. That was the thing.
I didn't catch much of it, but
I want to see if I can bring that up. But they each had something, and I think his was. I'll tell you what he had. I think I have it here. His choice of music went like. Let me see if I have it here. His choice of music when he got the jersey was "Levitating" by Dua Lipa, "Boogie Shoes," "Return of the Mac," "Over the Rainbow," and "Black or White." Like
over the rainbow. That's
over the rainbow. Like that shows you the personality is coming out.
Yeah.
He's an old soul. He's an old school guy, and that's what's great. And the fact that Tyreek Hill saying the kind of leader he's become. Last year, we all knew that Tyreek Hill was that leader on this offense. It's going to be Tua this year. You could see it. And you want to know who's motivating him even more? Right now in the minicamp, people were less impressed with Mike White than they were with Skyler. Skyler has a grasp of this offense now in this minicamp that nobody else has. And obviously, he's adjusting to different people. But obviously, with Izukama and Tanner Connor and that group, obviously those are people he's used to throwing to, and that he was very comfortable in the Mike Daniel offense. Mike White, I think actually there's a competition between him and Mike White. Honestly, like I have a feeling he could potentially beat him out.
How do you feel about the 4th-string guy that they brought in, the rookie?
Deadman.
The few clips that I saw, it looked like he was throwing the ball well, but
he was throwing the ball well. Actually, they did a drill today. They did a drill today that Omar Kelly posted, where you have to try to get the ball. You sort of do a scheme, get a ball into the net. The first guy to get it was him.
Yeah.
So he looked very good. You need depth, especially now. He'll make the practice squad because now you're allowed to carry 3 quarterbacks without using up a roster spot. So either way, Skyler Thompson and Mike White are going to be on the sidelines.
I think one of the things that I find interesting is I feel like since Tyreek Hill's been on our team, like I feel like he is speaking as he can in every situation. And to hear him say that he didn't know, he went through most of the year not knowing exactly where to line up on every play, like that to me is just it. I mean, it says a lot. This guy who was, he's gonna get his bag. I think he said he wants 2,000 yards or something like that.
Yeah, he has to average like 170 yards. Has to average like 100 something yards. But he could do it. The only difference, I don't think he cares. I think he'll get it. I think he could potentially. This offense is going to be ridiculous this year. The offense is going to be ridiculous this year. You saw Dalvin Cook. It's a different level. Like people right now talk about how we're a playoff team. We're a playoff team. We're a playoff team. We're not a Super Bowl contender. You get Dalvin Cook, you're one of the top. You become one of the top 5 teams in the league because nobody has the star power at every position the way we do. No one, not Buffalo, New York, nobody. We're in that conversation with the Kansas Cities and the Bengals And people talk about the Bengals. The reason why they're so strong, why people give the Chargers, it's because they have a star running back, they have star wide receivers, they
Yep.
have a star quarterback. That all is going to come to fruition this year. It's just going to come. I'm just telling you. And honestly,
Right.
part of the reason why, honestly, for Tua, if you have a Dalvin Cook, trust me, there's no way Mike McDaniel is not going to run the ball on 3rd and 2 or
Yeah.
3rd and 3 or 3rd and 4 if Dalvin Cook is in your backfield. There's no way he's going to
Right.
throw. There's no way he's
And
going
then
to throw.
turning the game over to the running backs in the fourth quarter,
Yeah.
you know. And the crazy thing is you turn the ball over to the running backs in the fourth quarter, they can still hit, 65-yard runs to add more points to the scoreboard. So
we're not going to be the prisoner of the running game anymore.
I have been a Dolphins fan for so long, and it's hard for me to just let go and embrace what this team is, because they've disappointed so long in the past. But the optimism, you just look at a lot of how many times a team with a second-year coach has gone, far in the playoffs or to the Super Bowl. It's possible, and I feel like they have, they've built this team.
Nothing scares me. We have the second hardest schedule, but nothing scares me because there's so many weapons, and that's why. For me, it's not about the player only; it's about the weapon. The more weapons you give Mike McDaniel, this guy who's in his lab probably right now designing plays for Dalvin Cook already without even signing him yet. It's just the mentality. It's the way that this team is built. They're not a team that's built by committee. It's built with star players who basically put the fear of in everybody else. Look at Jalen. Everyone's getting stronger. Have you seen Jalen Waddle? Jalen Waddle, or as his sisters like to pronounce Waddell, because that's actually how you pronounce it. It's actually Waddell, but it's just easier to call him Waddle. Waddell is the guy's added 10, 15 pounds a month. He's actually bigger. And people say, "Are going to make you slower?" No, it's just going to make me strong. The reason he did it was because every time he caught the ball, if he got hit, he was getting knocked off the ball. You remember that Minnesota game where Dalvin Cook got the 54-yard run. The reason why he got the 54-yard run was because on the previous play, somebody fumbled the goddamn football. So for me, it's no. I'm happy the mini camps are over. I'm happy they went well. The coverage of having the media in there talking about how things are going and how they're impressed by some of these young players is great. For me, we have a lot more to talk about on that level. The one main topic I want to talk about at the end, which I think is great, actually people think it's such a negative, but I actually am going to turn it into a very good positive, is I love the continuation of the negative media and how they rip on Tua and they rip on this team. So for me, people find Chris Sims a pain in the ass. I think he's a loser. But the reason why I want him to keep on coming on the air and talking how Tua is a 21st ranked quarterback, and he has people like Mac Jones and Daniel Jones and the mailman better than Tua after what Tua did last year prior to the injury is laughable. But after what even Mike Florio, I don't know if you saw this, Mike Florio very quickly, I think within an hour or two of the show ending, made a $2,500 donation to Eric Ramone's GoFundMe page because this moron basically said, when they were talking about what they were doing and what was going on, actually said, well, the guy said negative things on Twitter also. How dare you even say that? He's a moron, he's a schmuck, he's an a-hole. The guy could not perform as a quarterback in this NFL. How they give him a mic to talk about this stupidity and how he can actually talk. He always looked at both sides. Anything that's Miami Dolphins related or Tua related, the guy literally was criticized. People even said, people made a stupid comment on Twitter, and people made, Tua only gave $10,000. Get over yourself. I don't see you doing it. So stop.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean? Ridiculous.
Exactly. Did he get suspended? He wasn't on the show today.
Probably off. Maybe Florio. Who knows? Maybe Florio was embarrassed. It's Florio's show, right?
Maybe Florio gave him a
started doing this right away. You don't do that, honestly. You're a schmuck. He's a moron. And for me, let him come back on the air. Let him continue to feel the fire. You don't think Tua hears this? You don't think Tua knows this?
Yeah.
Give me a freaking break.
Dude, I feel like before Tua goes to bed at night, he just has a wall that has tweets and news clippings and just receipts from all year that he's just going to use to fuel his fire the whole year.
Yeah. I just don't get it. I feel like we're stuck in this warp And that's why I want September to come quickly, because I feel like no matter what we do. So, for example, you sign Aaron Rodgers in New York. You
Yeah.
have second-year players in Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson. You bring in mid-level running players in Nicole Hardman and Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. Yes, you have a
Yeah.
stout defense, but how do you even compare that offense? I don't care if it's take away Tua for 1 minute, take away the quarterback. How do you even compare
Right.
Garrett Wilson's and the Elijah Moore's and the Brees Halls to a Dalvin Cook potentially, a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle? Are you absolutely kidding me? Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore could not carry Jalen Waddle's jockstrap. Give me a freaking break, okay?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. And for me, Chosen, honestly, he's going to be a revelation this year. Trust me. He's a former Miami guy too. Trust me, there's enough people right now talking to Dalvin Cook. I guarantee you, almost every Miami Dolphin has called the star, whether it's Ramsey, whether it's Howard, whether it's I guarantee even Mostert picked up something. Anyone. Just come to Miami. Come be part of this amazing thing we're going to try and do, and let's laugh it to the bank. And by the way, I just want to tell you something funny. People were writing on Twitter how this made me a joke. I know it was half joking that Josh Allen got the cover. And Josh Allen's a very nice guy. Honestly, he's a Jays fan. He comes to Toronto. I go, nice guy, great. You know kind of a jinx it is to get that Madden cover.
Yeah,
it's not a good thing to get the Madden cover. Every time someone gets a Madden cover, they don't have a very good year. So I'm not that worried that we. I don't want any Miami Dolphin to get that Madden cover. No,
exactly.
No, thank you. Decline it.
Volume.
So for me, it's just amazing. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. We have the best fans. We have an amazing group. They're supporting the Heat. They're at the Heat game. They're at the Panthers game. We're such an amazing community. I can't wait to get down there in 3 weeks and just feel it. I'll be walking around in Dolphins garb with my. I'll wear an Expos hat and I'll wear a Dolphins t-shirt just so people can say, "Hey, you're a Montrealer who's a huge Dolphins fan." I love it. It's just a great feel. I'm going to go to the Miami Dolphins store. I'm going to hook up with Alex, and I'm going to hook up with Dolphins Thirsty, and I'm going to hook up with anyone who else is in Miami just to be able to meet up with them and connect with the community and just have a great old time. And that's the goal, right? The goal is to have a good time and be a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, that's my goal for October. We're going to the Giants game. My buddy and I are going to the Giants game, so hopefully I can meet up with some of those guys just to put names with faces and all that good stuff.
I'm hoping to go to. I might go to the Buffalo game. I might do I might do one of the tailgates. I'm not going to do the New York Jets game potentially because that one's going to be crazy because it's the day after Thanksgiving. I wouldn't touch New York City.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But I might do the Philly one. I might do the Philly one because there's a lot going on in Philly where the guy Steven Daniels and Miami Sports Music is putting together this tailgate and a big event. I might do that. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how the summer plays out, and I'll see it. In the end, there's always going to be tickets, and there's always ways to get to the game. There's always ways to get there. But no, it's any final words? We're heading to the 45th hour, but I just wanted to get a touch point.
I had a thought. I had a thought, and I didn't really put it on Twitter because I don't, for whatever reason, I don't seem to get much interaction, which is fine. But everybody was saying that Miami's got this terrible tight end room. What if McDaniel? Remind me, I'm terrible with names. Remind me the kid we got from Stanford.
Sauerberg. Oh no, Elijah Higgins. Elijah Higgins.
Is that the kid? Yeah, they want to bring
Elijah
him in and transform him into a tight end.
Yeah, Elijah Higgins.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The dude's pretty fast, right?
Yeah, big boy too.
So you have Mike McDaniel, who's got the speed everywhere, and now he comes to this tight end position with Higgins, and maybe he's trying to create him in his vision, which is I want this tight end that's willing to block. It doesn't have to be perfect, willing to block, but then also as soon as he gets the ball, he can be gone in a heartbeat too.
Yeah.
And so that's like somebody had asked, like, who's the biggest person that you kind of want to see in action? And I think A-Chain's going to be a stud. But Higgins is the one that I want to see kind of how they use him and how he develops, because he said he's willing to get in there and get nasty. And so he's the one that to me is the most intriguing.
But there's a lot of interesting players right now. Like with Aubrey Miller, who they signed as undrafted.
Aubrey Miller. I was a huge fan of
Aubrey Miller. Brandon Peely, who's the only nose tackle behind Raekwon Davis right now that they even signed. There's a lot of players out there. It's going to be a fun training camp. It's honestly, Like, I have a feeling I made a joke that Bailey should be looking behind him for punter because Matt Turk is killing the Michael Turk is killing the ball
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
training during the mini OTAs and minicamp. There's players there's at every position. The only person who doesn't concern me is is Tyrone Armstead. I just want him to relax, show up on game one,
Yeah.
do not get injured this season, and have a great year. That's all I want. He's the only player I don't mind if he doesn't pick up doesn't pick up a football or lace a cleat for until September. I do not care.
Yeah. You
There's
just
a lot
keep
to
those
talk
slides
about.
on right now, buddy. And yeah.
Exactly. So everyone, before we head out, just want everyone, don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate you watching. We'll be back at our normal scheduled time now that we have a little more free time. Thursday at 8 p.m. right before No Holds Bar. Continue to watch all the shows on the network between Fins Talk Today tomorrow. Throughout the week, there's Once Upon a Sunday, the Beer and Sports Podcast. We had a show Huddle Up and Wait just earlier. Real Talk Fins Talk, Fast Break, Go Heat. There's just a lot to look forward to on this network. And just we're happy to be back. We're going to be in and out depending on vacations in the summer. But whenever there's breaking news or something positive, look for our faces, especially us. We want to talk a lot about more heading into training camp, especially when training camp starts at the end of July. We're going to be going full throttle all the way till the end of the year because training camp.
Every show, baby. Every show.
Every show. We're going to be going crazy. Hopefully, we'll be with you again, whether it's before Fins Talk Today or after Fins Talk Today or sometime this weekend. Hopefully, we'll be joining you again on a breaking news show, the Fins Bandwagon, along with Bobby and the crew to talk about the signing of Dalvin Cook. I mark it here first. He will be a Miami Dolphin. If he doesn't, man, oh man, he better be signing for he better be signing for $10+ million a year if he doesn't come to Miami, because the situation for him could not be perfect, because the fan base, the team, it's part of a community and wants to embrace this guy. I've never seen so many pictures of a player who wants to come. I've never seen so many graphics about a player who hasn't been here for months. It's absolutely incredible.
If he comes, what number is he going to wear?
He can't wear 4, can he? May the 4th be with you. I don't know. That's Cater Co's number now. I have no idea. Well, let's see what number he wore. Dalvin, let's actually look. Dalvin.
He'd look really good. 34.
I know, Florida State. So let me see what he was wearing in Florida State. Wearing 4? Actually, he was wearing in his images. What was he wearing? I want to see what he was wearing. He was wearing 4, but he was wearing 33. He was wearing 33 with the Vikings, so maybe he'll stick with 33.
Let's give him 34. 34 is a good number.
I can work for me. Whatever he wants to wear. Honestly, give him what he wants.
That's right.
So, Mr. Ross, open up your wallet, give him the $10 million, sign for the $2 million in salary, give him the $10 million signing bonus, and sign this guy up to be part of the best fan base, the best players, the best core, the best team, the best coaches. Let's just all have some fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching. As we always like to say on the Fins Bandwagon before I always go, like we always say everywhere else, fins up, everybody.
That's right. Fins up, baby. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, guys.